What's going on, guys? Today I have my League Starter video for my Hollow Palm / regular Monk starter for the 0.3 to Third Edict updates. I have prepared a path of building file that has every step of every act with all the items and skill gems you'll need along the way. Just make sure that you change these as you go accordingly. I'll have this linked in the description. If you just want to pick it up and follow it, not listen to me yap, that's fine. If you want an explanation, I have every single section outlined here. You can go to the timestamps to go to every act and listen why I picked to what I pick. But yeah, I'm going to explain exactly what I'm picking, why I'm choosing Hollow Palm, and kind of the progression that I take throughout all the acts. Make sure you come by and watch me live at twitch.tv/FGCorbin21, as I will probably be changing up what I'm picking on the fly because so many things have changed with this new update. We have new support gems, new passive tree stuff, so we really don't know until we get our hands on it. So with that, let's jump right into this. So the idea with the League Starter Monk is to go with Hollow Palm technique, and if Hollow Palm technique isn't good, we're just going to switch to a regular quarterstaff. And what we're going to do is we're going to use Ice Strike for clear, as it's got great AoE and good synergy with Herald of Ice. So we'll use this for our clear speed. We have Tempest Spell for single target. We have Charge Staff to amp up our damage. And if we want, we can mix in Flicker Strike, as it's going to deal huge single target damage now. Otherwise, you can do things like Falling Thunder, and we're going to mix in some of the new kind of unarmed skills. We have Staggering Palm, we have Shattering Palm, we have all the new palm skills that are going to be reworked. So that is kind of like the premises of the build. We're going to be running around with a whole bunch of attack speed with Hollow Palm, capped out crit, big tanky ES right here, a whole bunch of evasion rating, and a whole bunch of damage. Most of our single target damage is going to come from either Flicker Strike, Falling Thunder, Gathering Storm, something like that, and then our mapping is just going to be Ice Strike or Tempest Flurry, your choice with the Herald. So yeah, with that, I'll go ahead and break down the path of building file. So here on the path of building file, I'm going to show you how to navigate and use this tool. So on this path of building file, you're going to notice that I have my passive skill tree, my skill gems, my items, and everything laid out already. You can already see my DPS right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to this drop down in the bottom left and change it accordingly to what level you are at that stage of your playthrough. So if you're in Act 1 just starting out, this is what I like to do. You're going to go to Act 1 into this drop down, and it's going to show you my passive tree from levels 1 to 17 to show you what nodes I like to pick. Same applies for the skill section. You can see my skill gems and what support gems I pick. You can hit this drop down, change it to Act 1 to see what I'm going with early on, and what I'm going to change it to as I slowly level up through the acts. Same goes for the items. You can see that I have put on the bases that you're going to want, the most desirable bases. The stats you're going to be looking for on those items. So on a quarterstaff, you're going to want some flat damage, some increased fizz damage, attack speed, some life on hit or life on kill early on. Same thing for on all the armor pieces and rings and stuff like that. Even your charm that you'll probably want, and the flask. And as you level up, same thing. I have a fresh set of items with a fresh set of rolls on everything that you'll be wanting to look for. And then over here on the config section, I also have a config to show you at what point you should be having what buffs. So this is kind of set up to simulate you actually progressing and getting more skill stuff to buff you up for extra damage. This is also calculating Hollow Palm's progression as we get more evasion rating and energy shield as we get better gear. So as you're going about this, make sure that you're changing this to the right section. If you're looking at Act 1, to make sure everything else is set to Act 1. Same applies for the passive tree down here. This is going to be where your jewels will be. Same for the configs. Make sure everything's set up if you want to see a true kind of accurate DPS reading. And as you progress to endgame, you'll notice the numbers will slowly start to go up to a much higher point. So this is how you're going to navigate this kind of starter. And now I'm going to go ahead and break down kind of my progression and why I'm picking what skills I am. So for Act 1, what we're going to do is we're going to be getting a whole bunch of attack speed, and we're going to be getting some life on kill. So as you start out, you're going to want to like branch out and get the skill speed nodes. I like to then get this at least 3% life on kill node, because early on having life on kill is great for keeping you alive. You'll either branch up here to get these elemental damage nodes, or you can branch out here to get this attack speed node. It's your preference based on what you get in your gear. As for the skills that you'll use, we're going to be looking to do a Falling Thunder Killing Palm combo early on. So whenever you first get the clear fail, you're going to pick Falling Thunder. This is going to be a big burst damage skill, and why this is so nice is because you can combo Killing Palm together with it. So what you'll do is you'll go with your quarterstaff strike, you'll smack stuff with your stick. Whenever it gets low HP, you'll cull them using Killing Palm, which will grant you power charges, and once you have those power charges, you will nuke either a big pack of enemies, a rare, or a boss with Falling Thunder. Once you level up a little bit more, you're going to be looking to get Tempest Bell, as Tempest Bell is a great source for rage and a ton of extra single target DPS. And then you can then go either Ice Strike or Tempest Flurry once you get to the right level to use it. I like Ice Strike personally. It's got better clear speed and better, well, not better single target, but it has better clear speed. So I totally recommend Ice Strike. And then if you do go Ice Strike, you go Herald of Ice. If you go with Tempest Flurry, then go Herald of Thunder. As for the items, you can see I have the bases laid out. You're just going to want to look for flat damage on your quarterstaffs. Attack speed is nice. Level of melee skill is interesting early on because it's going to increase your mana consumption a lot, but maybe if you can handle it, you can use it. Otherwise, just go for evasion armor bases. You can do EV or EVES hybrids. I like to go with things that have max life, get yourself a little bit of resistances, and then just look for rings that either have attributes, flat damages, resistances, or anything of that sort to kind of help you out in the early game. For your belt, you're going to want to go with things that will give you max life and max mana and some attributes, and then just get you probably a Sapphire Charm, as there is a lot of cold damage in this act, especially from the final boss of Act 1. So that is kind of what you're going to want to do for Act 1. All right, so now we're in Act 2, and Act 2 is where you'll actually be able to get access to the Hollow Palm technique, and it will be located around right here. So feel free to scoop that up if you want Hollow Palm technique. Otherwise, I like to go down here and get Blinding Strikes for the extra damage and chance the blind, and you can also net this last Echoing Thunder for more damage. Go ahead and grab Killer Instinct for that extra damage when on full life. If you have ES, you should be keeping yourself at full life since we have Life from Death to recover our life on kill. So as long as you have that ES over top, you should be at max life for a little bit of extra damage on top. As for your skills, we're going to be using the same setup still, but we're now incorporating Charge Staff now, so you can use Falling Thunder a little bit less and probably just go full-on Ice Strike, Charge Staff, Tempest Bell. That is kind of like the playstyle that I like to play as I'm getting into Act 2, so that's pretty consistent there. And then as for the gear, same thing, you're going to want to go with a high Fizz damage quarterstaff. You can get things like increased elemental damage with attacks on your quarterstaff, critical hit chance, attack speed, or level of melee skill. For your bases, at this point, if you're using Hollow Palm, I'm going to be stacking Evasion rating for more attack speed. If your attack speed starts to get a little bit out of hand and it's draining your mana too much, you can go with EVES bases. Same thing, go with life, go with flat damage, go with attributes, go with resistances. And then you'll get a jewel socket. Go ahead and try to get a jewel socket that has some sort of attack speed, attack damage, movement speed, evasion rating, anything that benefits the build that you can get early on. And yeah, that is kind of the setup and the loop for Act 2. All right, so now we're getting to Act 3, and with Act 3, we're going to be going with Resonance because we'll be getting an extra Spirit Gem slot. And the reason why we're going to want to go Resonance is because we can go Combat Frenzy. So as we're freezing targets, we'll generate Frenzy charges, which will then be converted to Power charges. So this way you don't have to use Killing Palm as much to keep your Charge Staff up all the time. Now, it is good to note that they did just nerf Combat Frenzy in today's updates, so it'll be a little bit harder to generate those charges unless they've added more ways to do that. That might be something that we change on the fly as we're going through the new patch. Otherwise, I do like to get these life on kill nodes right here, as we do want to be keeping ourselves alive as we'll be in everything's face on melee. You can go for 2% mana on kill if you're finding yourself draining your mana too fast. You can build into some of these plus maximum power charges nodes. Lust for power is nice because you have a 5% chance to gain maximum charges whenever you gain a charge. We'll start to build into a little bit more of EVES. Same for here. We'll grab this movement speed node and then some more charge nodes right here. For the skill gems, like I said, you're going to get your hands on Combat Frenzy. Make sure you pick Perfusion so that way we can have a chance to get additional charges. Otherwise, everything else will remain around the same. Concentrate Effect, Martial Tempo, and Rage. Same thing on the Bell. We can now run multiple copies of the same thing, so we're having 2 instances of Rage. This is to get us up to 30 Rage really fast to have 30% more damage. Same setup for Charge Staff, Herald of Ice, and yeah, that is the setup for the skill gems. Same thing applies for the items. We're still looking for a quarterstaff with a whole bunch of Fizz damage if you're not going Hollow Palm. If you are going Hollow Palm, then you don't have to worry about the quarterstaff. For your armor items, you can same thing, go for EV or EVES bases with a whole bunch of max life, resistances, attributes. On your rings, make sure you go for flat damage if you're doing Hollow Palm. Flat damage is also just great overall early on in the campaign. Then just make sure you get life and mana on your other pieces of gear to make sure that you're not running out of mana and to keep yourself alive. Otherwise, I like to throw on an Amethyst Charm for Act 3 as there is a lot of chaos damage, and then a Stun Charm if you have the extra slot, or you can cover your resistances with an extra charm slot here. All right, so now we're getting to Act 4, which is the brand new act, and I'm kind of guesstimating on the levels that will be at here, so please keep that in mind loosely, that I don't know exactly where we'll fall in the levels. So since we're not really able to build into Sunder My Enemies yet, and we are going with I Am the Blizzard and I Shall Rage for our ascendancy points, I have to recommend that we start building into some Elemental Pen, because if we don't start building into Elemental Pen, some of these enemies are going to feel really tanky even if we do have good damage. So we're going to take those points, build down this way, and get a whole bunch of Lightning Pen, Cold Pen. You can skip out on Elemental if you want to. You don't need this if you're just looking for the pin here. But yeah, I would totally recommend that you go and get those elemental pin nodes right there, so that way we are dealing enough damage. Otherwise, for the skill gems, the setup will remain mostly the same. If you want to now, you can start mixing in things like Shattering Palm, which is nice for kind of an ice explosion. This might be really good in the new update. They kind of reworked all the unarmed skills. Flicker Strike, if you want to use it. If you find yourself having a really good charge generation, then Flicker Strike is great for single targets. Otherwise, we're going to pick up Wind Dancer with our extra spirit that we have now. And yeah, Unbound Avatar as we have it. The items are still going to remain the same. EVES bases, high fist damage quarterstaff if you're not going with hollow palm, and going for a whole bunch of life, flat damage, resistances, and attributes. Same thing, amethyst charm, stone charm, good flask, and good emerald. So yeah, that is Act 4 summarized. All right, so now we're getting into the Interlude Acts, and the Interlude Acts are where things are going to get a little bit more interesting. We don't know what level we'll kind of be falling at, so same thing. I'm kind of guessing at the level range that will be here. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting into these quarterstaff nodes. Now, if for some reason these quarterstaff crit chance nodes or these martial artistry, if these nodes don't apply to us while we have hollow palm technique on, then we won't go with these. I'm going to hope that this applies to hollow palm technique. I think it will. So if it does go with these nodes, if for some reason hollow palm doesn't work with these nodes, we'll find a different route to go. Come by my stream. We'll probably build into some attack speed nodes up here, or maybe we start diving into crit, who knows. But that could change depending on if hollow palm works with these quarterstaff nodes right here. But that's the whole thing, is we're going to be building into these because we want the attack speed increases. One with the river is really nice because it's 30% increased defenses while wielding a quarterstaff, and then the freeze build for it is nice if we're using Ice Strike. So more freeze equals more charges because combat frenzy, and we can just lock things down more a little bit efficiently. If you're using a pure EV base, Spectral Ward is great. It's going to give you a ton of energy shield. And yeah, that is really what kind of goes with the passive tree. As for the skill gem setup, it's really the same thing. Like I said, I like to go, if I can, if you have a greater jewel orb at this point. Inspiration's great on Ice Strike. We're going to have such high attack speed with hollow palm technique that you're probably going to want to have reduced mana cost, mana leech, mana on kill, 2% mana on kill, something of that sort to keep that up. Tip a spell, same thing, font of mana to keep your mana up, since we will be attacking so fast with hollow palm. Otherwise, all this stays about the same. On the items, same thing. We're going to be going for EVES bases. You can do pure EV if you want to. If you're not using hollow palm on the quarterstaff, big flat damages, increase elemental damage with attacks. You can start building into critical hit chance, leech physical damage as mana, leech elemental damage as mana. It will be a new thing right here. There's a new keystone passive that they're adding somewhere in this area right here to where you can leech with elemental damage. So keep that in mind if you need it. Leech life, leech mana, that type of thing will be nice here. Critical hit chance, flat damages, attributes, resistances. That's the same old here. Same for the extra jewel slot. Anything that you can get to benefit quarterstaffs, go ahead and grab it here. And yeah, that is the Interlude Act summed up. And finally, we're at a in-game starter area. Now, this is really subject to change. We don't really know with a new skill tree setup and everything and the new support gems. I think at this point, our build will probably look different from this, so I totally recommend you come by my stream and see what I got going on at the time. This is just me guessing. We don't really know all the way yet. This is just what I can, for the most part, recommend at this point. What we'll be doing is we'll be going into Sunder My Enemies now. So this will allow crits to ignore enemy monster elemental resistances, so we won't need these nodes anymore. And we're pretty much going to be building into crit at this point. So we're going to go with these crit nodes down here. We grab these crit nodes right here, this crit node right here. I go ahead and get Subterfuge Mask, so that way we can get a ton of EV and ES at the same time. If you have room for it, Spectral rewards, great at the same time, so that we can get a little bit more energy shield off of your body armor. If you've not gone CI, you can stick to these 2% mana on kills. I think I'm going to be avoiding CI for the beginning part of this league. Maybe later if we can build into it with like a Chevron satchel belt, but not really sure yet on that point. But kind of just at this point, if you're getting into Endgame, the idea will be to get in the crit, so that way Thunder by enemies can ignore these resistances. Otherwise, I like to build in the Lead Me Through Grace, so that way we can get some spirit based off the EV and ES rating on our body armor. And yeah, that is kind of like the idea behind the passive tree. As for the skill gem setup, same thing. We've got Ice Strike. Like I said, the support gems are probably going to change because we have new ones coming in. Same goes for all of these. I've kind of laid these out as best as I can for which is kind of what we do know. And then I've kind of thrown in Convalescence, because if you are doing a energy shield build now and you're not using Eternal Youth, this is a good way to get ES recharge on button hit. So pretty much you press this button, you'll start recharging your energy shield without interruption for X amount of seconds. So this will probably be nice for in-game, or maybe even Act 4 Interlude Acts for keeping our ES up if we have the spirit for it. As for the items, same thing. If you're not using Hollow Palm, then of course go with the Quarterstaff. Same thing, a whole bunch of fizz damage. You can get a little bit of cold, a little bit of lightning, anything like that. Increase elemental damage to the attacks. You're going to want critical hit chance if you're not doing Hollow Palm, and then attack speed and some sort of leech, probably leech fizz, or fizz damage as mana, or leech fizz damage as life. Same thing for the bases. Things are kind of going to change here. Since we are using Subterfuge Mask, I'm going a pure Energy Shield helmet. This is a perfect roll Energy Shield helmet, so please keep all this in mind. All these stats right here that you're seeing are like God roll items. I've gone with a pure ES, so Subterfuge Mask can have a big benefit. I've gone with a EV ES hybrid body armor because this is a great way to get a ton of energy shield to make you tanky against one-shots early on. The gloves, hybrid EV ES with a whole bunch of flat damage and attack speeds. For the boots, you're going to want to go with EV ES hybrid, same thing with movement speed. Amulets, I like to go with increased evasion rating, increased energy shield, plus maximum life or % increased max life, critical hit chance to all elemental resistances, to all attributes, and then I'm anointing with Harness the Elements for now, but that could change. Rings, flat damage, and some leash in all of your resistances that you need. Belt, I do like the utility belt if you can get it for the instant application, life, mana, flask mana recovery rate, attributes, resistances. Fill out your charms with whatever you want, and then yeah, your emeralds with whatever you can get your hands on. And yeah, that is kind of like the progression between all the acts that I'm going to try to follow. It's probably going to change a good bit as we kind of move throughout the campaign. We don't know what these new support gem changes are exactly. We don't know what the new passage tree changes look like exactly. GGG's kind of withholding this information and changing it on the fly every single day. So I'm just giving you my best estimated guess on what we can do here. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be planning to try to follow. Come by my Twitch and see what I'm using at the time. It's going to be actively changing as I'm kind of testing things in the new updates. And yeah, hopefully Hollow Palm ends up being great. We can only hope. Hopefully the scaling's nice. If not, Invoker will still be good for a regular Quarterstaff build, so no worries there. We'll make Flicker Strike one-shot bosses like we did last league. And yeah, I'm hyped for the new league. I hope you guys are. If you made it to this point, I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys here at League Start. You guys take care.